in the school system. I got commissioners right now that heard about this say, well, they must not need our penny. I wouldn't dare go there. I want to make sure that you continue being funded the way you are, but I want a fair process. We invest in you. We don't make the decisions for you, but at least you can listen to us. When you got something big going on, you can say, hey, Chairman Dean, what you think about this? Ronald Walker, what you think about this? You know, you did all that when we talked about the Avalon tax, and we ain't heard from nobody since that happened. You get what you want, then you forget us. Then you don't bring us in on nothing. So I just want to, I'm like Dr. Key, I'd like to hear the other proposals. I'm sure they're just as impressive as Volker. Volker put a good, they are one of the best. But Montgomery people were put together to make sure we keep the money in Montgomery, Alabama. That's a lot of money going out of Montgomery to contractors when it could be here in Montgomery.
Chairman Dean, I've given you a minute longer than our...
Oh, you do? Now you, excuse me.
In deference.
I'm gonna make sure I give you about 3 or 4 when you come down to county. I'm through.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Moore, a consent agenda.
Sorry about that. My grandson called me on a duo call, so I was trying to cut it off. I apologize. Okay, so I would recommend approval of the consent agenda, items A through F.
Madam President, I move to accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve the consent agenda items A through F.
Any discussion? All in favor with a show of hands? Jana? Okay. Unanimous. Dr. Moore?
Under number 8, I would like for you to remove the minority participation program policy and F at this time, Volker, so that the board, you've already done it? Okay, thank you. That's what grandkids do to you. So I recommend approval of the items under consider for approval A, B, and C, personnel report certified, personnel report certified addendum 1, personnel report classified personnel, and the Jewel Labs vaping liability litigation.
So do we have a motion to accept, to consider A, B, C, and D under consider for approval?
Madam Chair, is this the number 8? Is this usually where we vote on them individually? Because the consent agenda is all, and then consider for approval, we usually do one by one.
Okay, we'll back up. Okay. I recommend for approval item A, personnel report certified personnel.
Do we have a motion?
I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for item A, personnel report, certified personnel.
Okay. Discussion? All in favor, a show of hands?
I have discussion. Excuse me. I only have one, and this is about our personnel report, and I just want to put this out here on the record, that I would like for us to do a better job. Oh, you can't hear me? I'm sorry. Let me take the mask off. I hope that helps. I'd like to make a comment on personnel report, certified personnel, just for the record. I would like for us to do a better job in getting employees that have longevity with us, that are not a high number of emergency certifications, that are saturated in our high need schools. I just looking at the personnel report, and I had an extensive conversation with various departments about my feelings, but I wanted it to be on the record that we need to do better, and I understand our challenges, and there are many, but to make sure that we are looking at it through an equity lens and that we're not overly saturating our schools that are in need of support with personnel that we are constantly having to let go because of not being, because of emergency certifications. So I just wanted that on the record for that.
Okay. We have had a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? All in favor of approving the personnel report, certified personnel, with a show of hands? Unanimous. Dr. Moore?
I recommend approval of item B, personnel report, certified, addendum number 1.
Do we have a motion?
I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for personnel report certified, addendum number 1.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor with a show of hands? Okay, unanimous. Dr. Moore?
I recommend approval of item C, personnel report, classified personnel.
Okay, motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move to accept the superintendent's recommendation that we approve personnel report, classified personnel.
Second.
Any discussion? Show of hands? It's unanimous. Dr. Moore?
I recommend approval of item D, the Jewel Labs vaping liability litigation.
Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the superintendent's recommendation of the Jewel Labs vaping liability litigation.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor with a show of hands? And opposed?
Madam Chair, and I'm not opposing, but let me just say, Dr. Moore, thank you so much for hearing the voice of the board when it came to the items E and F. I think it was unanimous in our decision about having us to be more ingrained and integrated into the process and looking at an opportunity to look at the other. You still can't hear me? Okay, it's muffled. I was just saying, Dr. Moore, I thank you for listening to the board and their concerns being brought up and removing E and F for correction, as well as allowing us to hear from the other program management consultants. And again, it is not a reflection on the consultants who were here today. It's just some things that we like to address internally as far as our process. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Okay, anybody have anything else to add before we are adjourned? We'll remind you that our next meeting is Tuesday, May the 4th at 5 o'clock. We'll have a work session and a board meeting immediately following, and we are adjourned.